So I never thought I'm going to do a business out of it or I'm going to become a photographer. I was just sort of tricked into it in a way. But with the support of my husband, I actually took the next step, built a website, put some quite low prices on there, but it gave me a boost of confidence too.
You're watching the show MomBoss with me, Michelle Hon, and today I have with me Theresa Olesen. She is a Danish portrait photographer now based in Singapore. She has worked as a professional photographer for more than 10 years now and had a successful studio in London, UK before she moved over to Singapore with her family almost 2 years ago. So tell me, Theresa, how did you get into photography?
It started when I had my first child, 10 and a bit years ago now.
Yeah.
I was working a corporate job in Hong Kong.
Ooh.
16 hours a day, doing something completely different. I was an IT consultant. Very office job alike, and I wasn't very happy in my job. I did it because I didn't have kids, so you get up, you need to pay the bills. I had my first daughter, and it was very hard for me to leave her at home and work that many hours. And in Hong Kong, there wasn't the option of going part-time. It's in Europe, if I'd lived there, you do part-time, you do mornings, you scale it down for a couple of years, but there, it's a bit you work or you don't work.
Yeah, Hong Kong's pretty hardcore.
It's hardcore, yeah, and that's what I was told when I went to HR with my part-time suggestion. It didn't go down well. So I was thinking, what to do, because I didn't want to just quit and be home with my child, because when you're used to a 16-hour workday and deadlines and a team and business trips, it's a very big change to then be at home.
You feel restless.
Yes. So I was a bit miserable, and my husband bought me a camera because he said at least you can have fun in weekends. And I was upset that we didn't get enough pictures of my daughter because I missed her when I was at work. So. And it was before my iPhone days, people, only 10 years ago, but not many people have smartphones even back then, not to the extent that there is today. So we bought a camera, and I really liked it. So I started doing a lot of pictures of her, started to buy editing software because I wanted it to be perfect. I got so much into it that I actually went back from work every day to start editing and look at the pictures. And still miserable because I went back to work and I didn't like it. I missed her, and then my husband asked me if I just wanted to quit and be at home.
And this was still in Hong Kong? This
was still in Hong Kong, and it took me a year to decide fully that that's what I wanted to do, because you study at university, you get the job you really want or you think you really want, so it's a big thing to just quit it. And I didn't have, I liked my camera, but I didn't have another thing already built up. Then I got pregnant again, and I decided, okay, I will quit, because I thought 2 kids at home and I'd never see this. It was tough. I missed them. So had my second child, and I quit the corporate job, and then the camera just took over.
Right.
Because
start snapping.
Yes, I took more pictures and I got more into sort of the technical aspect of photography, because I missed working. So I missed the challenge and the learning and interacting with people. So I started just photographing people's kids and friends' kids, because when you're a new mom, you meet so many new moms, and they're all very grateful if you rock up with a camera and you want to take their picture. So I never thought I'm going to do a business out of it or I'm going to become a photographer. I was just sort of tricked into it in a way. I tricked myself into it.
Right.
It just, because I missed the business side of it, I started quite quickly to think, how can I do a Facebook page? So I started with a Facebook page. Then I started doing friends, kids, and people I didn't know. Still wasn't charging until my husband, who's got more of a business brain, was like, you need to cover
not
the
your
costs
friends anymore, and you have to pay for the time.
Exactly, because I probably was actually doing what a business would be doing, but just without charging, and you still have expenses.
Yeah.
So he was paying my expenses, and I was just doing
and that's when he was like, it's about time you charge, otherwise I'm fueling your hobby right here.
Yeah. So it was that borderline hobby job.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people are in that in between. Is this a hobby? Is it a job?
Yeah.
And because they don't say this is a job, they don't think they're worth charging. Like they don't want to charge.
Correct.
They think, I'm not worth it because I haven't studied this, or I'm not worth it because I'm not good enough, and they lack self-esteem.
Correct.
And I definitely lacked that. So people would still come to me, but I thought, I'm not good enough. But with the support of my husband, I actually took the next step, built a website, put some quite low prices on there, but it gave me a boost of confidence to actually
like, this is a legitimate business now because I have a website.
Yes. And then meanwhile we moved to Singapore actually, and I remember the first client paid like $50, and I took a picture of the $50 note because it's a massive achievement to earn money on something that you created, just you. I was earning, quite well in a corporate job, but it's a corporate job, and I felt, I'm just doing what they're telling me to do. But this money, I really made. I felt that I earned it. Yes.
Yeah.
So I got the client. I created something she wanted to pay for. So and then it just built itself up really with a bit of hard work, and I started doing online courses. We stayed in Singapore for a while, and then we moved back to London, which is, for me, was a great step in the photography career because UK is amazing for training.
I see.
There's a lot of one-to-one trainers, workshops. So I just started attending these things like mad because I was getting to the level where I really wanted to be better.
Yeah.
And you can learn so much yourself with a camera, but you need lessons, and you need practice, and you need someone to tell you the rights and the wrongs, and it's taking
you learn a lot quicker from someone else's mistakes and experience than you.
Absolutely, and you see them. I went to someone's studio, and I spend. It's quite expensive. You do a one-to-one training day, and it's a lot of money, but it paid back tenfold.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the keys to see where should you invest.
Yeah.
And I invested in a lot of the wrong things. I spent a fortune on props because I went straight into baby and newborn photography.
Yeah.
I bought like 1 million newborn outfits and blankets.
I've been to your studio. I've been to that's how I met Theresa really. She photographed me, and she kindly invited myself and my children over her studio, her home studio, which is beautiful, and it was decked with all these outfits. My kids love it. It's like I think you probably have more clothes and dresses than Disneyland princess makeover room. You know what?
It took a while. That was
the accessories.
Yes, I get a bit obsessed with it, and you start going on all the online shops and Etsy, and
since you're buying for business, like it's fine,
Yeah. And I think we all do it no matter what business you start. You get carried away with, like in my case it was props. If you're a cake maker, you get carried away in like getting all the shapes and that.
Yeah, probably.
You spend too much money on unnecessary stuff, and the key is to actually build it up with very few things.
Right.
And then as you're earning, you can spend that money on the props, and don't start spending your husband's money or your savings on it. I did that, and it was a mistake.
Okay.
Back to the
London. A lot of courses
took courses, did one-to-one training. I signed up with a few sort of professional photography associations where you shoot for competitions, which really took me to the next level because. Before I would send images to my mum and my family, and they think it's the most amazing portrait they've seen in their life because I did it, and it was
it's their family.
Yeah, and it was actually a bit of a tough learning curve because I was like, I'm amazing, so I started submitting to competitions, didn't win anything.
But you recently won something.
Yes, but then because you get some knocks in a business, and you get a few. There are moments where you think like you're the queen of the world, you can do it. Because all your family and friends say that it's amazing, but they're a bit, biased. They like you and they want you to be happy. But submitting for these competitions really taught me, no, I'm not at that level yet. And like they purely judge it for the technical aspects, the lighting, the editing, the posing. And I realized, okay, there's a lot here, and I still, so I signed up for more courses.
Wow.
I did a lot of model calls. So as much as I wanted to earn money and get people in as clients, I did that with the stuff I was comfortable doing. And then I did model calls where I knew I had to improve. So I would get like female models in to just pose hands. And I would do like 5 sessions of just practice how to pose someone's hand. So that got me to some winning images. So I was sort of
more
doing
like smaller wins because you put in so much work, so it's about time.
Yeah, so it was
a little bit of encouragement to go on.
And you get feedback when you submit for a competition. You could get feedback, and like your image didn't score that high because the lighting was flat or the posing was not strong, or so.
That's very useful.
Yes, it's super useful. So I learned where I should improve and focused on that. And it gave me, and then you start submitting again, and I started winning some portraits, and that was like a huge compliment to myself. Because, but you sort of, when you do it, you have to realize you cannot do all model calls and work for free. You still have to pay your expenses.
Yeah.
So I sort of.
So you're still taking clients on the side, and then keep.
Yes.
Perfecting your craft and learning more and more.
And learn more and more. So it's time management as well to figure out how much time do you want to spend learning this,
growing,
and how much time do you want to spend taking on clients that are paying.
Wow. And did you find that winning competitions helps bring in more businesses?
Yes. Yeah. That wasn't the purpose of the competition. First, I thought it was more a credit to myself because I wanted to know that I was at that level. I've always done it. Even at university, the marks meant a lot to me because I wanted someone else to say, yeah, it's good enough.
Right, okay.
And so that's why I started doing competition. I wanted to understand.
More like a self-validation.
Yes. So I definitely didn't do it with the frame of mind of getting
the award and plaster it on your website.
No, but then it helped. So I did plaster because I was proud.
Why not?
Put it on social media, but it did help me get more clients. Some clients still booked me and they had no idea about my awards. It depends on where you get your clients from.
Right.
But I realized that I get new clients that see me because I put that on there, and they think, okay, this is what we want. And it's sort of a credit. She's actually got that level of professionalism. It also helped me to put my prices up.
Yes, of course.
Which is actually a very important step when you do a business, is to realize your pricing, because I was priced myself too low. Yeah. And I just cut even. And you spend a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, time away from your family, time away from your friends, sleepless nights, and if you just cut even, it's not a very good business.
Yeah, I think this
is still doing what you love, but you need to charge.
Yeah, this is pretty common amongst entrepreneurs, especially women. We don't, like you mentioned earlier, we don't feel the worth, or that we feel the imposter syndrome. Who am I to charge so much, right? But who are you not to charge so much, right? Like you said, you have spent all this time and all this effort in learning your craft, and it's about time you get paid appropriately.
Yes. Yeah. And I think the winning competition images helped me to do that, because I was like,
confidence.
Yes.
That, hey.
Because you're like, you get the statistics, or you're like this good within the UK. You're like called a professional photographer within the UK Society of Photographers. And I thought, well, the others that are at that level are charging this much.
Then
so
I should be
doing that. Yeah. So it helped me to understand how I should price myself and actually tell people, this is what I charge.
All right.
And you get people that don't book you because that's what you charge. Yeah, and then you just learn that that's okay.
That's okay, and that's just not
there's a market
right
for
client.
everyone.
Exactly.
And especially within photographers, there are people that are just starting out. They have a Facebook site and they're doing model calls. They're doing their friends for free, which was the stage I was at 10 years ago. Yeah. And of course, they do it for free. They charge the $50 I was proud of at the beginning, and that's also okay. You know, you're at every stage,
and you get what you pay
of your
for.
business. Exactly.
Right.
And the only thing is like, which is fine, but within the newborn photography world, there's a lot of people starting out, and I would recommend to do the training before you start getting a newborn model and you don't know what you're doing because of the safety.
Neck, you know, that always feels
so that's one of my little pets. I don't like when people do
just starting out
and they do and they don't know how to handle the baby. And it's not enough to be a mum and you know how to handle a baby.
Correct.
Because being a newborn photographer and doing newborn photography is very different than when you're just changing the diaper and breastfeeding. But with women and men and headshots, by all means, you can just practice. And no one is gonna get injured from that.
And how did you decide to do portraits, like portraits and newborn indoor photography and not like outdoor? And that's a niche that I think you're particularly good at, and that you picked this niche. And how do you decide?
I was shooting a lot of different stuff in the beginning to find out what I really liked. And I learned that I uploaded the pictures on the computer and I was like, they're all close up. Like every image is close up because I'm drawn to doing the portrait. And I just like to do the portrait. Like it's also, I just go close because I want, and I think the beauty is in the face. And you can bring the hands to the face, all that. But I thought, and I got attracted to showing the person behind the portraits. So not just a picture or a snap of someone, but sort of to light it in a certain way to get that personality through and show it in the image that I create. So it just became a little bit more art than just doing pictures. And I just love doing portraits. And whenever I go out with my kids, I do their portraits. So my parents are complaining because they say, we never know where you are because it's just a close-up of the kids.
They could well be at home.
Yes, but I'm drawn to it.
Oh, I see.
And I enjoy doing portraits of different genres. So newborn, children, adults, I shouldn't say old people, so mature people. That's not the right thing. But like my mum doesn't mind, I can call her an old lady. But she has a lot of lifelines, a lot of experience that shows in her face. And I
find that beautiful to bring those out.
I love it because she comes to visit and she doesn't mind that we do a picture without makeup, without styling. And it's just showing her as she is. And I wish more people would sometimes do that. I love my makeover sessions.
Yes.
I'm very into them at the moment. The ladies, they come in, they have the hair and the makeup. And it's just bringing out, it's going from stay-at-home mum. I have a lot of stay-at-home mums. They come in, they have the makeover, and it's like this model walking on the door. But at the same time, I love the raw, no makeup, just being you, especially on people in their 60s, 70s, 80s. I would love to find someone in the 90s who would be up for it. So I just like to do different stuff within portraiture.
I see.
And then I still do the newborns. It's just a very different style, and it's just lovely to hang out with the new mums and take the pressure off them because you never get good pictures of your newborn baby. You're super stressed and hormonal, and it's just nice to go to someone and you're gonna get a selection of nice images.
And it's a keepsake. And the photograph that you photograph of me and my children, I always imagine that those old photographs that eventually, if I'm passed on, and my children will be showing their children, and look, how beautiful grandma once was.
No, it's very nice, and I've had a few.
It's just timeless. I like that. It's timeless.
It's timeless, and I always encourage people to bring in the generations, because I charge for a session, and it doesn't matter who people bring. So they can bring the grandmother, they can bring the granddad, the great grandmother, and I think it's very important to not charge for that because it's a gift to the family. And I think it's the most beautiful portrait is a 4-generation. I had one with 4-generation ladies with a newborn baby girl and the mom, the grandmother, and it's just that picture is gonna mean everything. I mean, it's for the great grandmother. She was in tears when she, because it's such a baby, and that baby will grow up and may not remember the great grandmother.
Yes.
And for the generations in between, it's that moment when they're all there.
They were together.
Yes.
It's,
So I love doing stuff like that. Something that gives a meaning to that family.
And is that what keeps you going in the business as well?
Yeah.
Because that's your big why to give that moment.
Exactly. That really is my big why.
Other people
is to give people the confidence, like to complete what they're coming in for. So if a mom or a lady is coming in to just create some beautiful portraits because she hasn't worn makeup for 6 months and she quit her job and she's at home with the kids and she loves it and it's her choice, she's happy with it, but to just have that one day where she comes without her children, has the makeup, and as you said, I have all the dresses in the studio, we just play dress up and that's what she comes for, and it completes me to give her that experience, and she will still, she loves herself as she is. She'll go home, take the makeup out, be with the kids and be happy, but she would have a series of beautiful portraits to just show to her kids when they're older, or give to her husband, send to the mom. It's a nice gift to give to someone.
Great, thank you. Thank you, and thank you for taking the photo for us as well.
Oh, my pleasure.
I should also mention Theresa is a mother of 4. So how do you do it? Okay, I'll let you know also, right? So you were successful now, then 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, in London, and then you wrap up your business and your family, and you moved to Singapore again. How was it like starting anew in a different country?
You start from scratch. You know your skills, you know what you can do, but you need to build up the client base again. And then you also realize which skills you don't have. So I can photograph, I can edit, I can post people, create these portraits, but I was like, marketing. I don't have
to get out to people, right?
Yes, and it's a skill that I just never developed. Like I studied something completely different. So it was back to drawing board, figuring out how do I get people through the door, because in London
how did you learn?
Marketing courses.
Right,
I signed up. Yes, I was like, you can either pay someone to do it or you can learn. And I think when you have to make this decision, you have to see what skill is it I need here. Would it be beneficial to learn it? And definitely yes. Marketing, no matter what business people start, learn your marketing.
Yes.
Like you don't have to be a pro, but don't outsource it.
Correct.
Because the minute you can't afford the outsourcing, your clients stop. So you need to understand a little bit about social media marketing. You need to understand basics on the website, search engine stuff. You don't have to be a pro, but if you keep paying, it dies out the minute you stop paying.
I totally agree. Like we should eventually outsource if you can.
Yes.
But before you outsource, before you hire someone to do it, you should know the fundamentals.
Yes.
Just so that you know what they're doing.
And get the best out of the person you're outsourcing to. So I built my website, the first one, very basic, and I realized I need a better one. I outsourced it. I thought I don't need to learn how to code. I don't need to learn this
technical. At least you know that what you need in there is presented and that they're doing the right thing for you.
Yes.
And before we start, we also mentioned about, we also talked about what you think is the most important thing when it comes to building a business from home, and you mentioned is building a professional network. So
yes, I think it's very important because business at home is a lonely business, and it's many days where you're not dealing with people, or you may deal with them online or emails, phone calls. But my time with the client is very little compared to the time that I spend on that client. So I'm preparing all the information they need. That's just an email or maybe a phone call. But the client, the time we're shooting could be an hour, 2 hours, and they're out the door, and I'm back to my computer, my files, my editing, my cup of tea, and the cat in the corner. And it's a lonely world sometimes. So having a network, I think you need two networks. You need your girlfriends. So you need to be able to call someone and let's go for a coffee and just not chat business, but just give you some happy moments.
Some break.
Yeah, a break. Have fun. Just do something to yourself. Like for yourself, and not to get stuck into only doing business at home. Take your time. Take that 1 hour to go for a walk with your neighbor. And then you need the other network, which is your professional network. And I built a very good one online. It's worked for me. It's there's a lot of photographers in the UK because I got to know them when I lived there. We're always online on Messenger. If we have questions for each other. So they're my friends, but some of them I never met. So we still discuss like girly stuff and husbands and kids and all that. But I would say 90% of it is, I'm not ranking on Google. How do you do it? And then there was, okay, let me try and Google you. Okay, you're not ranking on my Google. Okay, so what I did is X, Y, Z. And my friend sent me a list of this is what worked for me. And it's free advice. She said, I just spent 2 months getting into this and I'm learning from her. And it's free and she's doing me a favor, and in return, like it's not
she would have other questions,
but she would have a question like, how did you break it into the women beauty stuff, because she's doing a lot of newborns, and I'll be like, this I did this and try that in your area. So having that professional network where you can bounce off ideas, even how to deal with clients.
Sometimes you just need someone to rent, right?
Someone to say, how do I do this? How do I get more bookings? How do I deal with an unhappy client? And these are just, all my photographer friends are also just mums. It's bad to say just mums, but there are people that consider themselves, we were just mums, we started a business. But they may have had a past life in marketing. They may have had a past life in like banking. And with numbers, I'm not good with numbers, so I have my number friend. I'm like, how do I do this accounting? And I realized it's not my strong side. I'm going to outsource it. So I'm paying an accountant because the time that I spend doing my spreadsheets,
and it's
I
not
could do
bringing
5
you joy
shoots and earn money and pay for the accountant, and it doesn't give me joy.
That's true.
But my number friend in the UK was like, Theresa, you're never going to be good at this. Just pay your way out of it. And it's advice like that you need from this network, and you don't have to pay for a network. There's a lot
for like mompreneurs starting out, but how do you meet them though? How do you build a network?
I spend a lot of time on Facebook. There's a lot of Facebook groups. And you literally just do. I was in the UK, I was lonely when we arrived. I didn't know anyone. I had my business from Singapore, I needed to build it up there. So I just go on Facebook, Photo Mums UK, and lo and behold, there was a group called Photo Mums UK. And then, I
and then you start like that, and
then someone
comments, and you start a DM, and you build relationships.
It's a bit like you go to a networking event, and sometimes you don't gain anything. It's not you. You don't click, or you go and you find that one person who's like, I need, and I know so and so, and it starts trickling down. And I find whatever business you're in, trickling down is key. You find someone, know someone, get you in this group,
don't be afraid to ask for help and connection.
Approach people. Like in this group, there was one lady. She was commenting all the time, helping me out on like the group comments. So I sent her a friend request and I said, sorry, I'm a stalker, you look nice. Do you mind if I message you offline? And she was like, that's great. And now we're like best
online friends.
So use your elbows a bit. It's just like any other network group. You need to push yourself forward.
So like people who pay to go to conferences, right? They're serious. So you're not just mingling with
They're very serious and they're willing to help. And I don't think you should see competitors as competitors. You need to see them as friends. Because if they're on your side, you benefit. You both benefit. If you start being, she's copying me, or I'm not telling her this little secrets or nugget of good knowledge, share. I gain so much more from sharing than being, I'm not going to tell you this, or I'm not going to, I know this course is really good and it's what you need, but I'm not going to tell you because you don't. And there's a lot of that in any industry.
Yeah.
And don't be blind. It's not all good friends and all helping each other. There's everything out there.
Yeah.
But I think you should just enter the world with the frame of mind that I'm happy to help.
Correct.
Here in Singapore, I have it's a small group, but a good photographer friends that if I can't do a shoot, I'll tell the client, I'm not here, but look at these 3 people's portfolio, see who you like, and contact them.
Yeah.
You help them, they help me.
Correct. Yeah.
Don't start being, I'm not going to
There's customers for everyone. There's a right fit for everyone. And just go in with this abundance mindset and not scarcity mindset.
And it doesn't matter which industry you're in. I think helping each other grow, learn, it's so important. And it fulfills you because you go around with a happy mind and not with like, oh, it's so-and-so down the street set up a business copying me. And there's a lot of that.
Correct. Yeah. And if you know your stuff and you know that you've got value, and this is not important what everybody else is doing. Just stay in your own lane and just do your only right thing. Yeah, and help everyone else.
Yes.
And you're happier in the community than being alone.
Definitely. Definitely. And there's a lot of lonely hours, so just fill them with
people
friends and look at them as colleagues. Even though they're not in your company, but who you know.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Theresa.
No
That's
worries.
lovely sharing, and I'm sure that a lot of audience finds inspiration and ideas, and I hope that you enjoy this episode as well. And if you do, please share it with your friends. Just hit the share button below. Thank you very much.
Thanks for inviting me.
Bye-bye.